Another episode of On the Road with Signing Agents. This is Brian Schooley. He's actually one of the very first people who joined the loan signing system, man. So this story is epic. He's been a signing agent for about 2.5 years. He is a part-time signing agent that does $6,000 a month, meaning, yes, he's been doing this for 2.5 years, still has a full-time job. We're going to ask him why he keeps his full-time job, even though he's doing $6,000 a month in signing agent income. So his story is super duper inspiring, like all of these are. You know, if you, Brian, can do this, you can do it. How are we doing today, Brian?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited you're on. Like, honestly, I don't know if you know this, but like, you're one of my first students. I mean, like, this is a really cool to come full circle. You heard the podcast. We'll talk about that. But, you know, Nick Loper is one of the first things that I did on Side Hustle Nation. I'm excited, man. So let's get this party started. A $6,000 a month part-time signing agent. How does that sound?
Oof, that's unbelievable. Really, it's what it sounds like.
Okay, so everyone probably wants to know your story. Then we're going to talk about your signing agent journey. We're going to talk about why you have a job and you still haven't left that job to do this full time. Everything everybody wants to hear, how you work a full-time job and also do a part-time business. I know people are really intrigued with that part of your story.
Sure.
Will be intrigued, what I should say. So, man, but I ask every student the same question when we start off these amazing episodes. And why did you become a signing agent to begin with?
You know, that's a great question. I was, I had been in sales for a lot of years. I worked for a tire company, which I still work for. I do outside sales for them. I was just at a point where I needed to make more money. That was the bottom line. I wasn't able to make any more money where I was at. I kind of hit a ceiling, I guess you could say. I was also, a single dad of three three teenage daughters. So I needed to find a way to make more money. And I actually started listening to podcasts about trying to make more money on the side. And that's where I saw or heard your episode. And I just heard it. And for some reason, I thought, man, this sounds like something I could do. And that's when I reached out to you.
Well, let's talk about your story a little bit more, if that's okay, because I think your story is really resonant. We've had a lot of single moms on stories, which are on these episodes, which are super duper inspiring, from Stephanie to Tracy. But, you're the first single dad. So let's talk to some single dads out there, because you're obviously not the only one, man. And the fact that you have 3 teenage girls, let me just be very blunt. As a father to one, I can only imagine how expensive 3 teenage daughters are. But in all honest, or in all seriousness, is that must be tough on you. I mean, I say tough, like kind of like you got to provide. You're a single dad. You only have one income. Kind of talk through that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, 3 teenage daughters is quite a bit to take on. But I'm totally blessed with them. They're great girls and very supportive of me. So but being a single dad, in the world. I mean, I live in Southern California. It's not cheap to live here, and I was making what I would, consider decent money, but it's hard to keep, your head above the water in Southern California with one income. And that's what I had, and I had a mediocre job that, it paid the bills, but I could never really get ahead. So I was kind of frustrated with that. I looked at a couple of other options and really, it was killing me with time is what was killing me. I only have a limited amount of time. I would work, my normal job, which is 40 or 50 hours a week. And then I picked up like a second job on the weekend, and that was just, it didn't work. I don't have a lot of time. And so when I heard your episode and you were saying you could make, anywhere between $75 to $150 an hour, I was like, that's insane. And that's what I need. I have very limited time that, there's some so I have my kids half the time, and I'm sure a lot of people are in this situation. And so when I have them, I need to be dad. And when I don't have them, I'm able to just go and, and work, but I also want to work smart, and I didn't want to be spinning my wheels, and I needed to find something that was actually really good income. And that's what I found. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really like really honest and heartfelt. Like when you have your children half the time, like you need to be dad, right?
Yeah,
and they need a dad, and so you don't want to be the dad who's like, oh, I'm not home, I'm not working. And it's really cool, man, that like being a signing agent has allowed you to, work when they're not there, and then when they're home, you can not work. And that's like one of the best parts of being a signing agent, right?
Yeah, for sure. It actually really is. And I would encourage anybody who is a single parent to look into it, actually to do it. Because the thing is, you have, whether you're doing direct signings or whether you're working for signing services, you can say no. Now if you go get a job and you work at, wherever you work at, Lowe's on the weekend or something, you're scheduled, whatever these hours are, you can't say no. So the beautiful thing is I can work when I can work, and I can also say no when I need to say no, to be dad. So yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And some of the other ladies didn't really touch on that, but I think it's one of the best parts of being a signing agent is the fact that you can say no and say yes when you want, and you can build an amazing business. We're going to talk about your signing agent journey, how you work this around your schedule and if you're getting direct business and all that other stuff, but I think it's really, like I said, honest and heartfelt about being a single dad. I just know there's so much pressure out there. Like you said, not only are you in Southern California, but I mean, to provide for 3 children, man. I mean, talk about that.
Well, my girls are older. They're 19, 16, and 14 now. So, a lot of like the babying part taking, is over, but, now they have, relationships, and they have cars, and they have all that stuff. So, it's just, there is pressure there. It's different pressure than when they were little. But I think the real pressure there for me is that, they're teenage girls, and I need to be a good dad to them. And so I can't spend all my time gone, making money and neglect that. I've really got to focus on them when they're there. So there is a lot of pressure, but we figured it out.
I know these stories are what makes me like want to keep pushing and helping more people, because it's like I'm so happy for you and your family and your little ones, and they're not so little anymore, but they're always going to be your little ones.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me sharing your story, because it's and I think what story I'm about to share, because it was probably one of the top 2 or 3 moments I've had while teaching the loan signing system. And we have, as thousands of students right now at this point. But this was, like I said, the first year of being in loan signing system. I'm trying to let people know I can help their business, help their lives. And then Brian, Facebook messaged me, to be specific, on Christmas Day. I think this was 2017.
Yeah,
on
2017.
2017, Christmas Day. And I remember where I was. I'm just brand new and helping signing agents build a business. And Brian sends me a Facebook message. He says, Mark, I just want to let you know that, if it wasn't for what I learned in your course, Christmas would not have been possible this year.
Yeah.
And I show that to my wife, and I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now to just let you know how much that's impacted me, man. And, you're not the only family single dad who struggles to put Christmas presents for their families. And I'll thank you for allowing me to share this story, because I think it will resonate with other people who are in your spot. Like, Christmas just passed, and there's families who feel that pressure of like, I can't afford Christmas presents for my family. And so the fact that you sent that to me, man, was everything.
Yeah, it was. That's 100% true and legit. I can't remember if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but I just know it just dawned on me. Like, I think it was over, and I was so happy that I was able to, get the stuff, that my kids liked and wanted and all that stuff. And I thought, man, I think what I did was I added up how much I spent on Christmas, and then I looked at how much I had made, as a loan signing agent, and I was like, that only came from there, like legitimately, And so I was like, just so thankful. I just had to send you a message, and I didn't know, like if you got other messages like that or not, but I really did want you to know that you've made a huge difference in my life, and I've always been very thankful for that. Like, so thankful. I mean, let me go full circle on you. This year, 2019, off the money that I've made, which has increased quite a bit since I started, I actually took my girls this year to Hawaii for Christmas. So that was like a lifelong dream, and it was like the best vacation I could ever imagine, and like, man, we had the time of our lives. So yeah.
I have chills, man. I think my eyes are like watering, dude. That it was like, I had no idea that like going to Hawaii was for Christmas, and that's like literally full circle. Like,
yeah, isn't that funny?
That is incredible, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, Brian. That's all I can say, man. I'm proud
Thank
of
you.
you. The
Thank
signing agent you've become. I mean, you inspire me by being a good father. Like I said, you're 2.5 years in. We have pretty constant communication. So,
you. Yeah.
dude, I just want to say, you inspire me. Keep going. I know this. I know for a fact that you still haven't even reached your potential in this business. There's
Yeah.
a
No.
focus in your future. We're going to talk about why you still have your job. So maybe not a full-time signing agent, but you can still be a part-time signing agent with a signing service.
True.
Making that
Yeah.
passive income. And so we're going to talk about your journey a little bit, but thank you for sharing that full circle. Like I had no idea. Like
Yeah.
I'm speechless, and I'm like
Yeah.
rarely speechless.
Yeah, it was awesome at the beginning of 2019. You always encourage us to make goals. I think we were just talking about it a minute ago, and one of my goals was to completely crush the income I had made the year before, to pay off a bunch of bills, and then my other goal was to take my girls to Hawaii for Christmas. I think it's something else I've heard you say. Is like spend your money making memories. I feel like you said that one time, and I really took that to heart, and I thought, yeah, there's nothing better that I could do for my kids than to do something that they're going to remember forever. They already, all they want is iPhones and all those things which they already have, so there's nothing I can really buy them, but that they would need or whatever. But going on a trip like that and making memories was one of my goals, man, and I achieved it. So
Thank you for just being vulnerable. And like I said, you're not the only single dad or
yeah.
single parent, not relative to male or female, who has those struggles and has the dreams of taking their family to Hawaii. And did all through the signing agent industry, like freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, man. And like I just want to inspire people that like all these signing agents who are doing well come from different walks of life. Not everybody wants to be a $15,000 a month signing agent like some of our students.
Yeah.
For you, time's more valuable than money, and I think
Sure.
time is the most precious thing we have as humans and as family members. I now have a family of my own,
Yeah.
and so like I always tell people, we interview some students who are doing 10, 15K a month,
Yeah.
but that's not everybody's goal.
Yeah.
Everyone's goal is like you. I want to be present when my children are here, when I have my children half time.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing, because I try to like show all different walks of life of being a signing agent, because I really think it's the best business in America.
Yeah.
I was called the best kept secret in real estate. And so, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And I think you may have inspired some others. So let's continue inspiring. You ready?
Sweet, let's do it.
And my first thing I want to inspire some signing agents with is you were never in the industry before you became a signing agent, right?
Right. No. Yeah. Never. I really have been kind of like in the commercial tire industry. So for like my whole career, really, I sell like the big tires that go on semis or like go on like tractors, backhoes, and all that stuff. So that was my industry, which is a million miles away from the real estate or loan industry.
So basically what you're saying, and I like for you guys to say it, because I always tell people anyone can learn this industry, but people think I'm just trying to sell a course. So
Yeah.
would you say that, anyone could do this industry? I mean, you can be a tire salesman.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally think that. I mean, I believe anybody can do it. There's really no trick to it. There's no gimmick. It's just learning about it, learning about the documents, learning how the business works just a little bit. But yeah, like literally anybody could do it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So let's inspire people even more. So you're a part-time signing agent,
Yeah.
and you actually, your journey was what you're going to talk about in a minute, but I want to inspire people on the front end of this conversation that, you actually get business directly from title and escrow. You don't
Yes.
get business, majority of your business through signing services. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. I haven't done any signing service. I didn't do any in all of 2019. So.
I had no idea, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one of my other goals from the beginning of 2019. I just looked at it and I was very busy in 2018, and I decided that I needed to work smarter, rather than harder, especially with my situation. And I just said, I'm going to go get all that direct business because for me, if I'm going to leave home, I'd rather make 250 bucks, an appointment rather than 75 or 100 or even 150. And I just really focused on the direct business, and I said no to tons of signing service stuff. So if also for the new people out there, I mean, I think there was a month all the new people are going to kill me, but there was a month where like I added it all up, and I mean I've turned down like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of signing service business. But I was just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to spend time with my family, and if I'm going to leave the home, I'm going to make the most of it. So it was a goal, and yeah.
I actually didn't know that. I knew you were trying to make the transition. I didn't know you actually cemented that transition. I mean, congratulations. And I hope
Yeah.
I hope signing agents who aren't even new, I hope that there's veteran signing agents watching this right now who get business only from signing services, who live right in Southern California or right in Texas or right in Florida. And
Yeah.
you're a part-time signing agent who gets 100% of your business from title sources, which we're going to talk about how that works in your schedule in a moment. But,
Sure.
I want to inspire people that you can be a part-time signing agent and not have to work for signing services.
That's right. That's right. Living proof.
Okay, cool. So let's walk people through your journey to show them how it looks. We have some students, as you obviously know, Brian, that have overnight success.
Yeah.
And then there's students who have taken a journey. I always tell people never compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10. We're all in a different chapter of our life, and just focus on your own horse race. So your race was different than some of the others we've had on the show. So, you're 2.5 years in, you're not 6 months in or 3 months in, but you do make $6,000 a month part-time. So, but let's talk about that kind of the journey. So you first got the loan signing system. And so, let's talk about your first 6 months in the business, what that looked like.
Yeah. The first 6 months was there was not a lot there. I was really struggling, but it was okay at the same time. I really didn't know how much money I could make. So it was like, I was getting the notifications. I think I got my first job probably within a month.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it was like a VA loan application. And so it only paid like $75, but it was right around the corner from my house, and it was at a time I could do it.
Only $75.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's when you're doing good, Brian. Just for the record,
Right.
A 20-minute appointment was only $75. And I think that's awesome, by the way, because that's where you are in your journey. And I think that I want to commend you on that. I want you to make sure you heard yourself right there.
This is
Because
true.
where you're like $75 in 20 minutes, like this is the best job ever. And now it's all because everything's all relative, and now you're like, it's only $75. But anyhow, it's one of the how far you've come, because you should appreciate and stop and smell the roses, because that's awesome. Okay,
it's true. Yeah, and I do want to encourage new people out there, because I do see people say it like, oh, it's just 75, which is what I just said. But $75 an hour, I mean, minimum wage in California, I don't know what it is, but it's nowhere near that.
I think it's $15.
Yeah, $15. So I mean, you have to work hours and hours and hours to get $75. So take it. It's experience, and it's so worth it.
Okay, so you got your first signing, $75, VA application.
Yeah. And it went well. Everything. It was a little bit different. There were some different forms I had never seen, because it was an application, but because of the training through the loan signing system, I got through it. Everything was fine. Turned it in. And and then I think that started a relationship with that signing service. So they saw that I did a good job and everything, did everything right. And so from then, they started coming a little bit more often. And then, being that I work full time too, there was a lot of notifications I would get that I couldn't do. So I would just have to say no. But in the first 6 months, I think I made maybe $2,000 is all. But the way I looked at it was, it paid for the course, it paid for my printer, it paid for everything. It was like, it paid for everything. It paid for all the costs for jumping in the business, which if you're a business person, which I can't, I mean, I am now, but I wasn't then. But even I thought, there's no business that I can start for this cheap and already be making money. Most businesses, there's a huge upfront cost or whatever. You're going to be negative all the time. Anyways, I was super stoked that I was ahead already, and that I was able to make money, and I didn't have to work, an hourly job anymore. So I was super stoked.
A little bit. So, like I said, you're a part-timer. You weren't looking for something to replace your current income. So even making an extra $400 a month, I think that the math breaks down to 6 times 4, like $300 a month. Like $300 a month part-time, like your goals are different than someone else's. So I think $2,000 a month in your first 6 months for never being in the business,
Yeah.
and your goals were never to be a $10,000 a month signing agent, and it's still not to this day, right? And
Yeah.
so it's just, I think it's cool. My point is, I don't want to downplay your $2,000 in the first 6 months because your
No.
goals were different. And I think the fact that you had a part-time business making $300 to $400 a month in the
Yeah.
first 6 months is awesome. So let's talk about let's talk about the next year. So now we're in the, your first 6 months are past. Now
Yeah.
you realize, okay, shoot, I can make some money in this industry. Let's
Yes.
talk about the rest.
Yeah. So that January, so after, I mean, because I guess I started in July or in the summer, and then so the 6 months was about at December. That January, I just decided I'm going to start reaching out to escrow offices because I'd heard you talk about it, going direct. And so what I did was I looked, at my work. I work in Riverside, so I looked on Google and I typed in escrow offices near me, and and I found one that was like right around the corner. And so I decided, during lunch one day, I'm gonna go over there and just walk in and just tell them I'm a loan signing agent and just give them the whole spiel, and it was actually awesome. I mean, from that meeting, I didn't get a signing, but the lady invited me to come to the Riverside County Escrow Association meeting. And she said, if you come, it's this week, and all the escrow officers from Riverside County will be there. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, when is it? Yeah, yeah. I'm like, well, when is it? And she's like, it's like Tuesday night. And I was like, I don't work Tuesday night. It's free, and I'm going to go meet every escrow officer in the county. So I signed up and I went, and from there I met a couple escrow officers. I think I messaged you before. I'm like, dude, I'm going to this thing, and you told me two things. Your job is to meet people, get business cards, and then make a follow-up appointment. And that's what I did. And from that's how I got my first direct signing.
Okay, there was so much amazingness in there. And what I think the first amazingness, and I hope people who watch more than one of these episodes understand that the real success is just in the doing.
Yeah.
It's like going and I mean, you literally just Googled escrow officers near me. Like there was not any science behind that. There was just like, I think sometimes people overcomplicate the business is what I'm trying to say. It's just
for sure
near me. And then number two thing I think that you should give yourself credit for is, you're a big implementer, right? Like you went in, you heard me say go direct. I said you can do it part-time. You went in, you Googled, you said the spiel, which is the script. You didn't need to reinvent the wheel. I told you what to say and you said it. The networking event, you asked me what to do and you did it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I mean, success is really that simple. But the only thing I can't take any credit for is the action. Like you Googled escrow officers near me. You made the decision to walk in. You made the decision to go to the networking event. You made the decision to reach out to me and say, Mark, what do I do? What do I say? But then you made the decision of being an implementer. And I try to tell everybody, find a mentor and just implement.
Yeah.
You don't need to be an innovator. If you don't choose me as a mentor, that's fine. These are meant to inspire people, but just get a mentor and implement. Don't need to recreate the wheel. And that's what I want to give you credit for. And I think that's kind of really the running theme of all of these episodes. It's just, Mark, I just went out and did it. I just did what you said. I just executed. And, people just understand, like, this business is like any business in America. If you execute a plan, you can get business. And so I don't want to take any credit for that, man, because I know that you're probably like, wow, does this really work? Escrow officers near me. Well, I'm going to go in and take the script. Does this really work? I'm going to go in to the networking event and grab business cards. And like, credit goes to you, man. I'm excited and building. Okay. So next year you made a decision. I'm going to go direct. And we're going to talk about how that works with your part-time schedule in a moment, but I still want people to go through the journey. So you started getting these direct offerings. And so at this point, how much are you signing service and how much are you direct in like end of year one?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I guess I probably was just taking everything I could. But I do remember, even, having that debate, like if I take this signing service tonight, what if somebody calls me? And it was always a debate. And, I think there was even a night where I called the signing service back and said something happened because I had an escrow officer call me, and offer me a direct signing. And I was like, I got to take it, So, for that, I guess for that first, so the year and a half, whatever, the first whole year, I was doing about half and half, but I was too busy. you know, I was running too hard. So at the end of that year, you know, that's when I decided to just go direct only.
Because I was going to ask, so how many signings? Like I like to talk to part timers in this episode. So how much money were you making more or less per month? How many signings was that? So these part timers can kind of get inspired. You got a full 8 to 5, and you're still doing how many signings a week?
Sure. You know, it's been such a ride. I don't really remember, but here's what I do remember. So that January, after when I decided to start, you know, going after direct business, I made a goal to try to make $2,000 a month. Now that was a insane goal because the whole 6 months previously I had only made about $2,000. You know, but what I learned right away was you know, when you go direct, it adds up fast. So for that, as soon as I started doing direct business, that next whole year from that point on, I was able to average $2,000 a month.
That's great. So 6 months, you did about $2,000. Once you realize, wow, this could be a legitimate part-time income for me and my family,
Yeah.
you average roughly $2,000 a month part-time in your first full year of being a signing agent.
Yeah. Totally.
Man, that's awesome. Like I said, other part-timers are getting really inspired by this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're now up to $6,000, which we're going to talk about last year. But
Yeah.
I mean, $2,000 a month part time, you built that in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, could you say anyone could do that?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I was thinking about it. You know, I don't know what the average income is in America, but you know, when you take the whole average of the whole country, it's you know, it's not a ton of money.
It's $40,000, by the way.
Is it 40? Okay. Yeah. So, you know, the way I looked at it was part-time, you know, I've been able to create a business that makes, you know, half that. I mean, that's insane. And to be able to do it on my own time when I want to do it, I mean, it's really unheard of, you know, and people do, they reach out to me all the time and they ask me like, is this real? You know, and I'm like, dude, it's real. It's stinking real. Like, I didn't believe it either, but you know, I guess I never didn't believe it, but for some reason I just had enough in me to just keep trying, you know, and I was just like, I'm just going to try. Like, I don't really have anything to lose except for the opportunity to make money, you know, so it's just a positive. And I mean, with every step I've taken, it's just been a blessing, man. Huge
I'm
blessing.
so proud of you. Well, it's amazing what happens when you put your why in front, right? Your
Yeah.
3 baby girls are your why, and it's like you have nothing to lose, but you literally have everything to gain. And
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people either choose to be victim of their circumstance or choose to make something of that circumstance. And you've decided to make something. So I want to commend you again, man. There's people in your exact same position who are like, well, this is what it is. And you chose not to say it is what it is. You're like, I can do something different so I can get more. You know, I always, it's everybody wants more, but not everyone's willing to do more to get more. And so you are, man, that's all you, and I'm proud of you. And you're not even like I said, you're the sky's the limit. I'm fully expecting you to have a signing service. I'm fully expecting you to grow this business to something that's even bigger than it was today, man. So, okay, so let's go into the last year, which would be year number 3.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So year number 3, I decided, you know, no more signing service because I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna. I hate to say waste my time because even making 75 to 150 an hour is amazing, and nobody should ever deny that kind of money because it's awesome. But I just decided I need to, you know, work as smart as I could. So I went, you know, fully direct. You know, I kept going well, they don't have that meeting every month, but every time they do have that meeting for the Escrow Association, I would always go. One of the things that was cool was you know, I wasn't doing business with, you know, I was probably doing business with 10% of the people, but everybody there knows me. And so now I've become like this guy that everybody knows, they see, you know, and so it's like sooner or later I'm going to get all of y'all. But you know, it's just, but it's cool. It's like they know who I am, they know what I do, and now I'm a part of their, you know, their peer group really. So that's been huge. And from that, I've really got like almost all of my business. You know, I've got some of my business from, you know, referrals, you know, and that's another thing I would just recommend for everybody out there. If you have a good connection with an escrow officer, just ask like, who else do you know? Do you have any other friends or any relatives in the business, you know, and can you connect me? Because it's a shoe in, you know, so.
I mean, I hope people are getting some great nuggets. Every one of these interviews has little nuggets in it that can grow a signing agent business, from your escrow association meeting to the referral tip you just gave. I hope people watch this back a couple times, because you've been dropping some really good knowledge. And I think it's amazing. I think the biggest knowledge you've dropped so far is, you could be a part-time signing agent and do direct business. You can fit it in, which we're going to segue to right now. But I want to inspire some part-timers right now, and even full-timers. You're making $6,000 a month part-time. There are full-time signing agents who don't make that money. So let's talk about how this looks. So just so people understand your work schedule, you literally have an 8 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I leave home generally because I do sales. So it's sort of, I don't necessarily have to be at the office at a certain time, but I got to be out in the field by 7:30, and I usually work till 4:30.
Got it.
So
I mean, that's a legitimate 7:30 to 4:30. So the point is, you're making this $6,000 a month from 4:30 on.
yes.
Is that correct? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want people to know, like, you're not part-time because you work like 8 to 1. You're basically working a full day, 7:30 to 4:30, which is awesome. So I want to inspire part-timers that like he's making $6,000 literally on evenings and weekends, no daytime work.
Right. Yeah. Lots of evenings, lots of weekends. But it's beautiful. I mean, I love it. I really love it. I mean, just I don't know. I've never owned, my own business before. There's really something different about when I go, I'm going to go out tonight and I'm going to do a job for $250 and I'm going to make $250. When you work for somebody else, you might go do a job for $250, but you're going to get, like, what are you going to get, hourly?
Okay, so let's talk about something real quick that I'm sure people are interested in. And then, so how come you still have your full-time job?
I mean, I guess I would say the biggest reason, well, a couple of reasons. One, insurance, so that's a big deal. I mean, two, stability. I guess I've always kind of had a regular job that's, it's just there. It's always constant. And I've worked there for a long time. I actually really like the people there. They're kind of like family, you know what I mean? But I mean, I can't tell you like how many months I've contemplated, like, this is it. This is the last time, because I do see it. Like, I mean, making $6,000 a month. I mean, I'm right there. I could leave, you know what I mean? And I know if I did, I could focus way more time on being a signing agent, and I could probably, blow that up so much. But, there's just a part of me that's like, I don't know. I've thought about going full time, and I've also thought about starting a signing service and staying there, and so like I could manage, a signing service and also have my full-time job and, make some passive income and, I have a lot of things in the hopper.
There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's great. Look, you have 3 children, and health insurance is not cheap, especially in California. And so you could get single pay healthcare in California, which is like the most expensive thing in the world. And so, I think that's more than an amazing reason. You love your job. I mean, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm sure people will curious why, because if you're 6, you can probably scale it to 10. But there's something to said. I think, you've kind of touched on in the beginning, is time's almost more valuable than money, right? You got a good little routine down. You go 7:30 to 4:30. You bang out 2 signings a day in the evenings, and everything's just working and clicking. And I think there's something to be said about, that you're actually valuing family over money. Your goal is not necessarily to be a $15,000 signing agent. Your goal is to be a dad to your baby girls. And right now, a ton of money, and you're still being a dad.
Yeah. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. Yeah, I know. I know that there's signing agents who are making more, and to me, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want that. I do want that as well, but this is where I am right now, and it's working so good. I'm just like, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So let's talk about something that I think some part-timers are kind of curious about.
Sure.
Were you nervous about going direct? I know there's so much, like, well, you can't be a signing agent that works part-time and actually work for title and escrow companies. So kind of talk through the journey of, how that looks like on a day for you, so you can inspire other part-timers, like, just go out, do it, go get the direct business, because in the group, everyone goes, I'm part-time. It's impossible for part-timers to go direct business directly to title.
Yeah, I hear it, and I do understand it, because there is a part of it that's difficult. I mean, you do have to balance a lot of things. I guess what I realized early on was that with signing services, I was saying no to them, And just like something you teach in your class, if you say no, they're just going to go right down the thing, and it's going to be, they're going to find somebody else. And but that doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't want the job. It just means you were like already busy or whatever. So my response, to escrow officers if they called and I couldn't do the job was I would just say that I'm already booked. So they didn't necessarily think that I was, not wanting to do the job. It was just that I was already booked, and that was all they needed to know.
So it's a great nugget. And I don't want to touch you off, but you said something that I touch on, which I should have. So when you market direct, you're not telling the escrow officers or title officers you're a part-time signing agent. You're just marketing your business.
Correct.
Not relative. I mean, because I always tell people the funny part is when you're full-time, you don't tell people you're a full-time signing agent.
Right. Nobody says that. Yeah.
Nobody says, hi, I'm Mark, I'm a full-time signing agent. You just walk in and say, I'm a signing agent. But I think there's nerves that part-timers have that they feel like they need to say it, when I'm like, full-timers don't tell them that they're full-time. You just market like you're a signing agent. And so I just want to hear from a part-timer who gets direct. You take the advice that I tell you, and you don't tell them one way or the other. You just market your business.
Yeah. Nobody's ever asked me if I go full-time, nobody's ever said anything remotely near that. They just say, can you do this signing, this afternoon or this evening? And it's like, yeah, I can, or yeah, I can't. And, it works. So yeah, you do not have to tell anybody that you do it full-time or you don't.
Yeah, and I think some signing agents are insecure about it. And like you said, I mean, you just have a conversation, and if they call you and you can't do it, then I can't do it. And the best part about our business is because you can't do it, they don't necessarily get upset, because that's just the way the business is. They understand that you're doing other things. You may be in a signing, you may not be in a signing. Like, they don't care why you can't do it. You just tell them, I can't do it. They hang up and they move on. And that's the beautiful part. So I love that we're breaking down some myths right now of being a part-time signing agent, that you can go direct, market yourself just as a signing agent, not relative to full-time or part-time, and you're proof that you can create a $6,000 a month business by being a part-time signing agent, only working for title companies. So epic, man. Let's move to the next part of this, where this isn't necessarily trying to teach the course, but I do want to give people some value and some good tips and stuff that we can get from signing agents who are crushing it. So with that being said, Brian, what is maybe a tip or two that you would give a signing agent that's listening right now that would help grow their business?
Yeah. I think something I realized in this last year, which has just got me in a better mindset when I'm approaching escrow officers, is realizing, I'm a notary, I'm a loan signing agent, but my number one job is that I'm offering them a service. So I'm not a notary, I'm in the service industry. My job is to service the escrow officer or the title officer. So when they call and they have a need, it's my job to, if I accept that job, is to meet the service that they need, which means, like they need me out in LA at 8 o'clock at night, and they need the docs back, the next morning. So that means I'm dropping them off at their Dropbox in the middle of the night, or whatever it means, but there's a lot of people in the world, probably not just in the notary, LSA industry, where they don't really realize that their job is to serve people, and I just kind of got that. One day I was like, man, it's my job to serve these people. And I guess I learned that sometimes if you listen to escrow officers, they'll tell you what they need. And if you can perform that for them, I mean, you're gold to them. If they need, you here at this time, and they need you to go over there too, and they need you to have the docs back here, it's our job, and it's not too much for them to ask. And if I can perform it for them, then I'm their guy.
I love it. I mean, you said it better than I can, frankly. And, I always teach you guys to bring value, right? And you've turned that value into a service mantra, which I think is genius. And I hope people rewind what you just said, because, if you think, I always tell you guys, always think of yourself as a signing agent second, never first.
Yeah.
You're a business owner first, signing agent second. The signing agents who think of themselves as signing agents first are usually the slower signing agents. And so I love that you've taken kind of the philosophies of LSS and turned it into like a service mantra, which I think is genius, man. I love it. When you're doing part-time business with direct companies, you're handing, because you have to be at the office at 7:30 the next day. You are dropping off the boxes at the drop boxes, because most escrow offices have drop boxes. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a part of, if you're going to do it the way I'm doing it, you got to figure out those details, and I do hear a lot of people get hung up on it, online, like, how am I going to make this happen or whatever. But most places do have a Dropbox. So what that means for me is, if I'm out at night, I do the signing, and then I take it to their Dropbox and drop it off at night. Or, I mean, if I want to get up extra early in the morning, I can drop it off in the morning. But and that's part of the service, that you got to offer if you want to do, if you want to be, a good LSA guy, Yeah.
Well, what good part-time signing agent, you got to make it work, and you have. So what I want to say and point out is, so let's say the signing takes you 30 minutes to get there, hour to execute. But now it would take you 30 minutes to get home, but you're taking an extra trip, let's say 20 minutes out of the way to drop it off at the escrow drop box and taking 35 minutes to go back. And so what you're doing is you're just factoring in a little bit more time. That's offering a service. But for the signing agents who are like, man, I can't do it part-time, you just got to make sure you're communicating with your escrow officer. Like, look, I'd like to drop these docs off at night. Do you have a drop box? I'm more than capable of dropping it off. And sometimes they actually like you dropping off at drop boxes because they get documents first thing right when they walk in that door, versus you coming in at 9:30 or 10, or maybe doing different drop-offs if you're a full-time signing agent. And so that's what I want to mention right now is, if I'm a full-time signing agent, I can drop off a set of docs at a escrow company at 8:30 when they first open up. Right. Then I got to drop to my second client, which now means I'm at their office at 9:30. And then I drop off those docs. Then I got to go to my third client, which is 10. So they're not getting docs back until 10 o'clock. My third client is, which they actually get a little frustrated with. Mm-hmm. See, but you're alleviating, saying, I'm going to drop it off at nighttime.
Yeah.
So they really get it in the morning. So the point I'm trying to make, and maybe that conversation was over a few signing agents' head, but if you're giving them at Dropbox at night, they're actually getting it very first thing. So right. They're actually excited about that. So don't be afraid to ask. You have a Dropbox, so that actually ends up being a value add, or the way you say it, a service to them. So,
sure.
You're figuring out ways, or you're waking up first thing in the morning to drop off docs at the escrow office. Right. And I don't know if most people know, but most escrow offices will open up super early. Yeah. And so you can drop off docs before you go to work or at night, and that's how you solve the problem of getting docs back to your escrow officers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually an essential part if you're a part-time guy like me. And it's something I always ask if I am taking docs, from them, or they're emailing them to me, or whatever is going on. I do just say, when do you need these back? I say it always, because sometimes they don't need them back. If it's a refi, they may not need them back next thing, or first thing the next morning. But the other thing is, I do have some escrow officers who come in at like 7 in the morning. Some of them are like 6. They're crazy. They have so much to do to get it funded that next day that they need it super early. I've even, once you create relationships with these people, I've even gone to their house at night, dropped off, the documents at night, or on the weekend to their house. And, it's just part of it. If you communicate well with them, you ask them, when do you need these, and that's just part of the service that just makes you better than the next guy. So,
I'm hoping we're inspiring some part-time signing agents here. Like, it's possible. You create relationships, like I teach you in the course, how to create those relationships so you can actually drop them off at the homes. Most escrow officers go get in at 6 or 7 because they're so busy. And so for your part-timers, you can definitely drop it off before you go into work. And I want to make sure that I was communicating that so people get inspired, like, man, I can do this part-time. Let's go, right?
Totally.
So
you can make it work.
On to the last question I always ask every student, and that is, when you first started, we're all kind of nervous about something. 2.5 years later, looking back at that, what you're nervous about, you're like, wow, I should have been nervous about that at all anyways. What was that for you?
I guess the nervous part was I knew I needed another job, but how to balance it, and that was my biggest problem, was how is this even possible? If I want to make, extra money, is it just, so I guess that was the biggest thing I was afraid of. Is it possible they make, more money than, just like a normal hourly job, and, do something that's good for my family? And that was the biggest hurdle for me, was trying to figure out, is there something to, is there a way to make that work? Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, and so I can just maybe clarify that thought process for some of the viewers, is your biggest concern was, could I legitimately make a signing agent business around my full job? So you were nervous. You're about to spend the initial startup investment to be a signing agent, and you're like, look, I'm gonna put out a couple bucks to get Mark's course, to get my notary commission. And could I actually really pull this off? Like, can I legitimately work an 8, 7:30 to 4:30 and be a part-time signing agent? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that was a much better summation of what I was trying to say. Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's, because all of the things that I see the newer notaries saying, like on the Facebook groups, it's the same things that I was like, how can I make this happen? Like, is it really something that I can do? And just by taking one step at a time, by trying the things that you've told me to do, like just try this, implement this. It proved that it is a legitimate thing that you can make a lot of money, and even go full time, if that's what you're looking for. You know, and I guess the other thing too, like we talked about initially, was can I really, okay, because I guess this is it. Can I really have a second job being a single dad? You know,
Ooh.
I mean, that's the bottom line because, uh, you know, and this is the perfect job because, like I said in the beginning, I can take a job or I can leave it, and if my duties as a dad are calling, then I'm just telling the escrow officer, oh, I'm booked tonight, I can't, and but in my heart I know, like, I got my daughter's volleyball banquet. I'm not doing it, I'm gonna go be a dad. So yeah, I mean, that was the biggest fear. How am I gonna make some extra money for my family? And you know, it's been just a huge blessing.
And it's all worked out. Let's go.
Definitely.
So kind of wrap this interview up, and thank you again for being transparent. Thank you for inspiring. Thank you for just taking time out of your day or your evening, what I should say. Are there any last words of just inspiration you want to leave someone who might be watching this right now?
Yeah. What's funny was I hear everybody, everybody's heard somebody in their life say, man, you can do anything that you set your heart out on or you set your mind to, And honestly, for like the longest time, I kind of thought it was like some dumb mantra that people said, because I didn't have I never had the right opportunity. And what was crazy was I just realized, like, within the last year, like, if I want to make, $2,000 a month, I can do it. If I want to make three, I can do it, or whatever it is, and really I would just tell, I want everybody to know, like, it really is true. Like, if you try hard, if you do research, if you surround yourself with good people who are positive, who are telling you the right things, who are encouragement, you really can do anything. And I wish more people knew that. I come in contact with a lot of people and they're like, wow, I can't believe, you had that opportunity or whatever. And I'm like, well, I worked for it, and I'm not better than anybody, but I was just like, I just had enough to just keep taking a step forward. And I would just encourage everybody, like, just don't give up, just keep trying, like, you really can do so many amazing things. And, after my first, 6 months, I made a goal, like I was telling you, like 2,500 bucks, and I smashed it. And I realized, like, I should have set my goals bigger, but I had no idea that, like, as a person, like, I could. Like, I just never thought like that. And then so the second year I was like, well, I'll make my goals even bigger. That seems ridiculous, And I beat those too. And so yeah, I would just encourage people, like, just set a goal and figure out a way to get there, and you can do it.
Yeah, I'll just end with this. I mean, opportunity knocks, but you got to open the door.
Yeah, for sure.
And you are a classic example. You're an inspiration that when opportunity knocks, you open every door, whether that is the networking event opportunity. Some people would have saw that and shied away from it.
Yeah.
Some people, you see everything as an opportunity, but you actually open the door when it's knocks, man. I'm proud of you.
That's right. Let's go through that door.
That's what I was saying. Kick it down if you got to. But thank you, man. Like I said, you were one of the early people early on in LSS. We're now almost 3 years old. And so thank you for taking a chance on me and my course.
For sure.
Thank you for inspiring other people, not only in this interview, but I know you do it in the Facebook groups, and you always support and you're giving back. Because when you were a newbie, there were people who helped you, and now you're going back because you know what I believe in: people who give are people who get. So
For sure.
Thank you, man. Congratulations, your success. Can't wait to see you at conference this year.
Yeah.
And expect signing service out of you, man.
You got it, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, talk to you soon, man. Bye.
All right, man. Thank